Good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to the 13th Masterclass session of the India Forum for Nature-Based Solutions. My name is Harshal Suresh. I work within the cities team at WRI-India. And WRI-India is the secretariat to the India Forum for Nature-Based Solutions. I'll start with a quick introduction about the forum, about the masterclass series, and also introduce our speaker for today. The topic for today's masterclass is Empowering Youth, Enabling NbS, the WeforWater Fellowship Story. So I'll just quickly introduce about the forum and move forward. So the forum was launched on the 29th June 2022 at the 11th World Urban Forum at Katowice, Poland. It's a coalition of research, practice, and finance organizations working together to scale up the adoption of NbS for shaping climate resilient cities and communities in India. Since the launch, the forum has been working actively on several fronts, such as building a shared language and awareness around NbS, documenting and sharing evidence from Indian cities, supporting policy discussions and integrations at a national and state level. Through these knowledge exchanges, like the Masterclass series, we aim to share actionable strategies and insights that support practitioners, policymakers, and researchers in implementing urban NbS on the ground. So the forum is a collaborative initiative, and its strength lies in the diversity of expertise among our partners. They bring not only networks and on-ground experience, but also strategic guidance. Our partners play a key role in shaping the forum's direction through the steering committee, while also advancing objective of its task forces on knowledge, capacity, and policy, as well as funding and financing. So yes, these are the partners on the screen. You can see the partner organizations of the forum. So the objective of today's masterclass really is focused on the WeforWater Fellowship. So basically trying to understand how has the fellowship contributed to strengthening local leadership and capacity for NbS. What are the kind of institutional arrangements, be it district programs or government partnerships that have enabled its success? How can the fellowship model be replicated or adapted for other NbS priorities, be it wetland restoration, urban heat resilience, and so on? And what lessons can other organizations draw to design similar fellowships or programs? So for this, we have Shubhi Kesarwani from GuruJal. She's the founder, CEO of GuruJal. She's a Columbia University graduate, educated on the sustainability management as a sustainability management leader. GuruJal is a mission-driven organization innovating nature-based solutions to make India water secure. GuruJal was recognized as the best NGO in the water sector by the Union Jal Shakti Minister on the occasion of World Water Day, as recent as March 2025. So before GuruJal, she has worked with Chief Minister's Office of Haryana as the CMGGA Associate and Assistant Manager, and ventured into youth leadership and grassroots action with Youth Alliance. She currently also is a UCAN Social Innovator Fellow and has published 2 books in collaboration with NITI Aayog. One is on the SOP, Standard Operating Procedure of Pond Rejuvenation, and the other is with the Haryana Forest Department on the Green Wall of Aravalli, a roadmap to ecological restoration. She is known for combining sharp business acumen with deep community engagement, designing nature-based solutions, pioneering green finance models, and leading system-wide collaboration with various stakeholders, including government. She represents a new generation of leaders driven, data-informed, and impact-focused, who are reshaping how climate action and development intersect in emerging economies. The other great part to the masterclass is also we get to hear from the fellows themselves, who have gone through the fellowship and who are currently undergoing as well. So for that, we have Akash Kumar, who belongs to Bukharka village in Gurugram. who became a WeforWater fellow in 2020, 2021. So he transitioned from a Flipkart warehouse with plumbing skills from ITI. He built strong expertise in rainwater harvesting assessments, field surveys, drone operations, and GIS mapping. I will let Akash speak about more about his fellowship during the presentation session. We also have Vinod Sharma, who is from Kerala village from Gurugram. He's also WeforWater fellow during the period 2023-2024, who transformed his passion for nature into a professional path in forestry. So again, Vinod also will be sharing his testimonial, his experience about the fellowship during the presentation. So I will hand over to Shubhi here. Shubhi, the floor is yours. You can share your screen and take it over.
Thank you so much, Harshal, for having me here. And then for the beautiful introduction. So I'm just going to share my screen. Please let me know if it is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, Shubhi. Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to hearing and having more discussion, but I can start with sharing what I know. So I think India's water problems are not really unknown to us. I'm also assuming that the most of us who joined this call today are coming from some understanding of environment, maybe relatively better than the rest of the people out there in the country. Yet, and then we have been struggling a lot with various parameters. And I've just tried to list a few on the screen, which is like India's ranking 120 out of 122 on the water quality index, and that was published just like 2 years ago. And then similarly, like 70% of our drinking water is contaminated, more than 60% of our districts are struggling with water crisis, and more than 2 lakh people die annually, and these are just notified data. But we are also struggling that a lot of districts are in the dark zone now. The issues of Chennai, Hyderabad, Shimla water crisis, Bangalore flooding, Gurugram flooding, Punjab flooding this year are not unknown to us. So it goes a lot, but I'm also have been investing a lot of years lately to understand how we can make them truly sustainable in nature, and thereby, investing more on the nature-based solutions. And I would really want to put it here that nature-based solutions are not really abstract. They have proven records, and I'm going to walk you all through some case studies also of our projects that we have implemented. You are always welcome to come and see it for yourself and then believe in buying. But I also see like a lot of co-benefits, which further increases the valuation value. Even if we were to do a cost-benefit analysis, it is going to be definitely more than 1.5 in terms of returns on the investment. So sharing a study of what happened in one of the projects that we were working on. We were working on a 216-acre campus of the Border Security Forces that is based in Bhunsi area of Gurugram. We were struggling because there were a lot of issues of water logging, over reliance on the bore wells, sewage mismanagement. There were defunct STPs. There were 3 defunct STPs, and all the sewer water after going through it used to be there. And when we tried to understand what were the concerns, they said, oh, electricity disruption is the problem. And over a time, they have been defunct. They do not have like proper budgets of electricity. So hence leading to inefficient water management. So we were also reached out by the commandant officer because, they were dependent, the campus were dependent on 11 bore wells exclusively for their water supply, and out of which 8 had gone dry. So now for him, the problem was access to water. And that's where we pitched in. So we said it's a beautiful campus on the foothills of Aravalli. So of course the runoff is going to be very, very high. And then we also learned that the certain areas used to flood. So we designed interventions saying, okay, can we have more nature-based solutions? Can we have bioswales? Can we have filter trenches? Can we have wastewater ponds and gully plugs, check dams to arrest water and help it recharge more and more? so that the access is there. So 2 years of intervention, and we see, all those areas which were inaccessible, which were really, really ignored, because they were, like you can see the first image here, this is how the sewage water used to be around. This was the defunct STP. So after, rejuvenating them, after integrating the nature-based solutions, we could develop detention ponds, more, this is one of the wastewater ponds. So basically, it was used to be filled with the wastewater, but after installing a constructed wetland, which can be seen here, the water used to get treated and come back to the pondage. And you can see by the number of birds and ducks out there, we can imagine that the quality is really good. There are fishes in the water and everything. So it has now created a big, beautiful ecosystem. This is also an area where leopards come, a lot of other mammals which reside in the Aravallis come to this campus, and this is what we were able to do. As a result, we saw almost 4 feet increase of the groundwater within just 2 years in the entire campus. So now 5 bore wells out of the 8 which had gone dry have water now. And that could only be possible because of the integration of the nature-based solution. So 30% of the water tank cost was saved, right? Almost 20 million liters of water was being recharged. And I'm seeing all these numbers because we've installed sensors in the campus, and we can see the rise and fall in the water table happening. And then, of course, fellows were really, really involved in the process and leading it. So while I move to the next section explaining more, I really want to hear from the people who've joined the call that when you hear about nature-based solutions or the NbS, what's the first word that comes to your mind? So Harshal, I just want to see that people can write on the Q&A section of the chat section, right? It's
Yes.
enabled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see response from Smriti. She's saying it's self-sustaining. Anybody else who wants to give it a try and write down what do they think? What does it mean? Shruti, thank you. Biodiverse solutions. Coexisting. Yeah. I would love to hear from more of you. Inclusive, natural interventions, natural resource management, low energy. Nature-friendly solution. So in my understanding, we're trying to sort of prevent a disaster and make it more adaptable and mitigate a issue. But while we are not working against the nature, we're working with the nature. So that's the entire intent of the nature-based solution. And it just so happens that we often end up mimicking the principles of nature to replicate it and to scale it further. So thank you so much for your responses, and I look forward to hearing from more of you also. So we've been working on a lot of these designs, and now this is a design from another campus that now we're currently working on. We try and do this sort of mapping of the entire campus or a certain geography and see that what is the contour levels, where is the water flowing from, and for that fellows have been really incredible. Akash Hara has joined the call, and he's the one who did the geospatial analysis and the drone mapping of this entire campus. And then on the basis of that, we were able to synthesize that what is going to be the design, what is going to be the plan of course, harvesting water, but also treating and reusing water as much as possible. So we've seen another beautiful study, and again this is from Akash's village itself, that he was able to mobilize and get the community along, and we could have a CSR partner to implement this project. And now we've seen an incredible increase of 9 feet in the groundwater table. Again, it's the machines and the sensors speaking. So when we started the project, it used to be somewhere around 36 meters, and after this monsoons, it is around 33 meters, so roughly more than 9 feet actually. So we could see like this used to be the pond, and it is again clicked in the monsoons. There used to be no greenery at all. And after we treated the water, there is a lot of infiltration rate has been pretty high. So almost even despite heavy rainfalls, most of the water is actually going in the groundwater table. But just figuring out ways of how to converge the ecological priorities and the needs also in the entire design of the system, where we can have the ghats for the animals, where we can have the islands for the birds, and and yet installing lemongrass to keep it more comfortable for the people coming around so that it can be a natural mosquito repellent. So integrating all these design solutions and thinking from the nature's perspective and yet serving the communities and the societies at the large. There are multiple co-benefits of nature-based solutions. We've done an internal analysis and found out that if we could reuse 15 to 20 billion liters per day for industry, would actually end up abating the 20,000 crores cost, which is gone, which is lost every day because we have to extract that water supply, develop the canals to divert more water to a certain area which has more needs. So similarly, we at GuruJal try and promote the idea of decentralized wastewater treatment because we understand that it has been really important. And once that is done, we would have a lot of vacancies for the operators, the technicians, and the O&M staff. So we are also talking about a lot of job creation. And if we were to integrate the GIS mapping, sensor installation, and the community mobilization, a whole new force of green skilling would come on board. So we're talking about a lot of employability opportunities here, a lot of revenue opportunities here, apart from the other ecological and environmental benefits and the abated disasters that we have been focusing as an environmental community for the longest time. Interestingly, we've also found that the revenue rates of those lands have gone very, very much higher. Because imagine living right next to a nala versus now having a Lakeview apartment or a Lakeview house. So that has been another insight from our observation from the sites that we have worked on. So now moving to another question, that if your office, university, house wanted to be water neutral, which NbS or the nature-based solution would you start with? And for the people who don't want to understand nature-based solution, I would just try and share here that ponds could be a nature-based solution, rainwater harvesting systems, developing a bioswale check dam, gully plug, floating islands, sponge concept, and creating something as simple as like a community garden, community forest, rain gardens, etc. Deepak says rainwater harvesting, Smriti. Anybody else? Anybody who wants to give it a try further? If you were to do it, why not focusing on reuse as well? Yeah, we have to cut down doing that. Okay, thank you, Deepak. Now you're writing reuse. I would love to hear from you later also what's your logic, but yeah, thank you for sharing. Bioswales, okay. So the idea is that also how do we bring these solutions into mainstream? While we've been working at the community level, where we do understand that there is limitation of land availability and nature-based solutions might need to be a little more tech forward in those manners to be able to fit into those areas, into geographies where there are a lot of space constraints, but also say mentioning it out here that it's not the case that nature-based solutions are not applicable in the regions where there is limitation of area. There is a lot of successful case studies for those areas as well. We just have to tweak into the design and bring out a more systemic solution for that. Yeah, Smriti, I hear you, and I definitely would want to share more on this note coming forward, but thank you for sharing. For those who can't read, Smriti has written that for reuse, the quality of water needs to be of a certain quality, and hence that can't really be the first step unless the water is treated. Okay, moving ahead. So what we could do at GuruJal is that understanding that every time we were trying to work on water conservation and increasing the groundwater table of a certain geography, we had to go to the various villages. We had to go to the various communities, RWs, etc. And then we realized, okay, what's the local hydrology of those areas? While we definitely have technologies and we use a lot of drone mapping, a lot of GIS analysis in the organization to be able to effectively and efficiently do that, but we also believe on the value of the local citizen scientists and in the value of the local opinion, because that definitely brings about a lot of context, historical context, which often goes missing in the present scenario. For an example, often we come across a lot of baulis which used to have water but are completely gone dry. And now with new set of urbanization, people don't even remember the hydrological channels have been disturbed, but not that it didn't exist earlier. So we realized that every time we wanted to work on a project site, we definitely have the need of knowing more, and the projects will only be effective and sustainable if the local people are involved, if the local community is equally sort of collaborating and co-designing the project. So we are co-managers, looking for co-managers, and this need came from the fact because every time we used to design solutions, and we would have like a lot of educated, literate people, experienced people coming from the perspective of nature-based solutions, wastewater treatment using NbS, and etc. at the professional level. But we would end up meeting the contractors, the vendors, the drillers, who might not understand this logic. A lot of data collection used to happen to be collected at the community level, and we wanted to work with the fellows at the community level to do that. And that's where the need for WeforWater fellowship came on board. And we had the first batch where we took up 3 fellows, and they have been working even till date with GuruJal. And these are Jitendra, Akash, and Ismail. Akash, out of the first batch, has been able to join the call today. So thank you, Akash, for joining. And then similarly, we could have the second batch with 7 people joining. And Vinod from the second batch has joined the call today. While I let them talk more about their own stories of what their experience have been, but for us, it has been an incredible experience, because Akash, after learning and working with us, could go back to his village and mobilize his people to get his pond restored while doing the things that he's professionally growing as well. You know, there has been an increment in the salary, in the lifestyle, in his abilities of learning and exhibiting things. Similarly, Vinod is coming now. He's pretty new. It has been 1 year since he completed his fellowship, and he's been working with GuruJal on the forestry level as well. And while we work with these fellows, I will really want to hear just a heads up that both Akash and Vinod will be speaking in Hindi, and I'll be translating it further. Akash, आप बता सकते हो आपका एक्सपीरियंस, अपने बारे में बताओ।
जी मैम, नमस्कार सभी को। मेरा नाम आकाश है। मैं भोकर का गुड़गांव का रहने वाला हूँ। गुरुजल से पहले मैं फ्लिपकार्ट वेयर हाउस में काम करता था, जहाँ लगभग मुझे 14,000 रुपए के करीब सैलरी मिलती थी। 2019 में मैंने गुरुजल ज्वाइन किया था एज ए प्लम्बर, जहाँ मेरा काम था लीकेज को फिक्स करना। उसके बाद 2020 में WeforWater फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम के तहत मैंने रिज्वाइन किया, और उसमें मैंने ड्रोन सर्वे करना, पॉन्ड प्रोफाइलिंग करना, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग का असेसमेंट करना, और डिजिटल टूल लाइक गूगल अर्थ प्रो, GIS प्रो, इन सब पे काम किया। अभी वर्तमान में मैं पॉन्ड प्रोफाइलिंग और जितने भी हमारे पास रिक्वेस्ट लेटर आते हैं सरपंच के थ्रू, ब्लॉक के थ्रू, उन पे मैं ड्रोन फ्लाई करके उनकी प्रोफाइलिंग करता हूँ, उनका असेसमेंट करता हूँ। और साथ ही साथ मैंने अभी कुछ दिनों पहले हरियाणा आर्कियोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट के साथ ड्रोन सर्वे और वीडियोग्राफी की थी। और अभी मैंने अपनी कंपनी भी रजिस्टर की है, जिसका नाम है एरोमाइंड्स टेक्नोलॉजीज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड। Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. So Akash is now, he's a DGCA certified drone operator, and he's gone ahead to study further. उसने BCA भी कर लिया है अब, and he's combining his IT. So now not only he knows about what happens at the nature-based solution, but he's also using a lot of financial, understanding, a lot of governance understanding. Akash knows how to navigate through various government departments and in IT, definitely. So he's combining all the skills to work on the nature-based solutions. Thank you, Akash, for sharing. Vinod, अब मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ कि आप बताओ कि कैसा रहा आपका एक्सपीरियंस है, आपने क्या कर रहे हो अभी।
नमस्ते जी, मेरा नाम विनोद है। मैं खेड़ा गांव का गुरुगांव का रहने वाला हूं। मैंने 10वीं और 12वीं कक्षा गवर्नमेंट सीनियर सेकेंडरी स्कूल से पास की थी। पढ़ाई के बाद मैं अपने पिताजी के साथ खेतीबाड़ी करता था, और इसके बाद मुझे WeforWater फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम में काम करने का मौका मिला। फील्ड सर्वे मैंने कंप्यूटर चलाना सीखा, डिजिटल टूल इस्तेमाल करना सीखा, फील्ड सर्वे करना सीखा, पेड़ पौधों को पहचानना सीखा। मुझे फील्ड वर्क और पर्यावरण की देखरेख का भी अच्छा अनुभव मिला। अब मैं गुरुजल में सहयोगी के तौर पर काम कर रहा हूं, जैसे कि ग्रीन बेल्ट बनाता और संभालता हूं, तालाबों की पूर्ण निर्माण निरीक्षण करता हूं, नर्सरी की देखरेख करता हूँ और पौधारोपण कार्यक्रम चलाता हूँ। हर महीने मुझे 22,000 सैलरी मिलती है। मैं आगे चलकर पेड़ पौधों की पहचान, ग्रीन बेल्ट विकास, लोगों को पर्यावरण के लिए जागरूक करना चाहता हूँ।
Thank you, Vinod. I would also like to mention that Vinod has, during his fellowship year, he was able to start a native Aravali forest nursery within Kerala village. And he was enterprising enough to be able to speak with the local government school and get their land to be able to start that nursery. Also mentioning here that he comes from the one of the villages which are on the foothills of Aravallis, and it's very, very critical, very highly dense villages, high density population village, which is now struggling with water. So hence it is very, very important for him. And on the other side, native Aravali species, forest species, or the tree species are not even available in the forest nursery, and hence he wanted to work on further to create his own nursery as well. So of course आप लोग please उनसे future में अभी हम जब presentation complete कर लेंगे, आप लोग you're more than welcome to ask more questions from him, and even if you have further questions in the later, please feel free to connect with us, and they both will be here with us in the entire call to answer your questions. So just sharing what does the typical year of fellowship look like. हम उन्हें assured job placement देते हैं because we have conversations with peer organizations, community representatives, and within GuruJal also we create a few opportunities. उनको group medical insurance benefit मिलता है during that tenure also, because there is like, how do we even help people understand, because when we go out in the community, they don't understand nature-based solutions. They understand job, they understand stipend or money, assured income. So that is the things that we were struggling, and hence we came out with a format that, this is going to happen. So we are onboarding a adult 18 to 30 years of age, and they can have like a very basic education, and then we work with them. They also have access to community water kits, जहाँ पे वो water samples खुद से connect करते हैं, data reading कैसे करना है, research कैसे manage करनी है. So they have been quite competent and taught into this. And again, you can speak more to both these fellows to understand what is their level of knowledge. So we try and create a field and forum approach where they spend 6 months at the community level and the 6 months in the field where they are supervising in actual project on the ground and able to witness the entire life cycle of the project. So coming to my next question, what stood out most for you? Was it the skills, the livelihood, or the community impact? And this is again a question to the participants, and I would love to hear from you. Community impact. Okay. More, all of this. Okay, Shruti. Okay, I'll move ahead while people can continue writing on the chat box. But yeah, so definitely one of the questions that often comes in context of nature-based solution is the sustainability of these solutions. Despite the fact that it is amalgamated in nature, it definitely needs some level of maintenance as well in the future. And people need to understand the design and the logic of it to be able to maintain it in the future. So the green skilling was missing at the community level. So we brought about the two-tier approach that empowering people and also giving them the innovative tools to work on it. Of course, we are catering to the green skilling that will be required by India. And as per the National Green Skilling Council, Job Council, it says that almost 35 million jobs would be required. I'm understanding that it has a huge component of the energy sector as well, renewable energy sector, but also foreseeing water sector has been emerging as a very thriving future job opportunity. And while we make all these decision-making tools or the modern age sensors, the dashboard, the other AI-enabled technologies, we still need people at the ground to be able to learn how to navigate through it and deliver the right result and say where the level of customization is required. So of course, And again, going with the nature-based solution, I want to bring about the fact that one size fits all approach is not going to work, and we need to contextualize it. And hence, we need local people who understand this entire concept. So walking you through of what this apprenticeship looks like, the WeforWater fellowship structure looks like. So it is again divided in the phase 1 and phase 2. And while we focus on the 6 major components of water management, forestry, design and operation, wet waste management, agriculture, research and data handling, we also understand that there's so much beyond knowledge. And it is the intention, the attitude, and the knowledge that is required. So the entire component is also enveloped around head, heart, and hand module, designed by one of our earlier colleagues. And then where the fellows are taken through a lot of reflection exercise, a lot of conversation oriented exercise, so that they know they have the confidence to come on screen and talk to 24 people, which would have intimidated him a year ago. And to be able to speak to the other gender, because we've been working with the fellows in Haryana, and gender issues have been quite important. So now these fellows have learned how to engage with the other genders as well, and then going about and working on the field. Their typical program structure, we have various modules. We have a very well-defined SOP where there are target-specific learning modules, and they are again taught into water, agriculture, forestry. But like the nitty-gritties of how to be able to read the sensors, what data points to collect, what would matter, what sort of economic activities can be generated from those nature-based solutions. Can we have fishing at the ponds? Can we have the growth of chestnuts or the singhara? Can we come across some viable economic option as well that can, go along with the nature-based solution, so that they can figure out a way and not be completely dependent on the community or the government for future maintenance compensation, but make it more viable economically and self-sufficient as well. So use of portable kits, how to study what parameters of water or soil to study in case of a particular project. So we've been walking them through all these nitty-gritties all along. And then the experiential learning, again, it is more in-depth on how to revitalize, how to work with the communities, how to apply the soil health improvement techniques, how to plant nurseries, how to do the seed collection from a forest, how to water, how and when to water, how and when to fertilize the plants, when to trim them. So all these, and then while I'm talking about the softer skills and the application oriented skills, we are also teaching them into how to fly drones, how to do the GIS based environmental impact assessment. And Akash on the call can now very effectively use SRE, very advanced software for GIS. Those who use it know it. One of our other fellows now efficiently knows how to use the AutoCAD software. So again, all these skills have been very, very interesting for them to learn, and for us to witness how they know and they have been applying it all along. So again, plugging into the fact that India's workforce needs 35 million more climate stewards. So why they have not been able to come up by far? Because there was lack of supportive policies, suboptimal infrastructure, the advanced programs of PMKSY or NSDC don't offer the green skilling programs or the nature-based solutions. And hence we felt the need of starting one of ourselves and saying, how can we translate all this knowledge into community fellows who know how to apply it at their community to be able to scale nature-based solution. So our way of scaling nature-based solution is not that GuruJal goes to 10 other geographies or 100 geographies to apply and do it, but to enable and empower all these fellows who come from the community level and can work on behalf of us while we design and support them to be able to do that. And we try and keep it very, very well funded also, so that they find it a lucrative job opportunity at the community level. And we are constantly training them on how to study the nature of problems, how to understand that your geography, say what is going to happen in Shimla will not be effective in Jaipur, will not be effective in Vishakhapatnam, and that we need to customize. How do we understand what are the different kinds of regions, and how to study the soil, the people, the socioeconomic patterns. What will happen in the peri-urban will not be reliable at the rural areas, etc. What will happen in the tribal areas will not be applicable in the cities, and hence copy pasting is not working. Yes, there is common theme, there is a common nature, but then how to customize it further. And then of course the native ecology, which often goes missing in most of our development plan, is the focus on native ecology. And again, Akash can share more how Bokarka used to have these turtles, but they were lost somewhere in the process, and now they are back after restoration of the pond, and these are endangered species of fresh Ganga turtles. So again, for sustainable communities, all these interventions need to be contextualized and they have to be hyper local, and all these fellows have been very, very helpful. This is some images of fellows taken while they were working. So of course there is a lot of interaction, so that they can also engage with the larger community, and they can give the presentation of what solutions we are proposing at the community level, while they are also going through classroom activities, classroom studies, and examination as well. And then we are developing tools internally called rainwater harvesting calculator and wastewater treatment calculator, so that we can empower these fellows with some devices, digital AI-enabled devices, which can be used to share the solutions with them, which can be further customized at the community level, depending on the nature, and then again the placement and the socio-economic factors of the community. And then we also have worked on the two manuals, and developing templates and sample manual documents, that for an example, if Vinod had to write a letter to the BDPO, how would he write it? So we have templates. We have created all these NOC templates that Akash has been using, a pond profiling template, so that he knows what important information to capture and then pass it on to the design. So long-term sustainability of the projects, which has been questionable all this while, we are hoping, and we've experienced it improving with incorporation of the WeforWater fellows. While we are installing the sensors and devices for life monitoring, it needs to be monitored by the fellows at the community level for the long-term sustainability and scalability of the nature-based solutions that we're talking about. So thank you. This is where I conclude my presentation. Thank you for being very interactive and responding to the questions. But yeah, we can take questions now. You're free to ask me the questions, ask Akash and Vinod as well. And if any of you are struggling with understanding the Hindi that they are speaking in, I'm happy to translate it for you. Just let me know.
Thanks a lot, Shubhi. That was a great presentation. Interesting to see you started with the campus level sort of, water neutral campus interventions, and then went into, sort of making us understand the value of community ownership, youth leadership, cultivating and skilling on green skills, and so on. It was great to hear from both Akash and Vinod on that. But yeah, meanwhile, request participants to please post their questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box, whichever you feel is accessible. There are a few questions already, Shubhi. I'll just take one by one.
Yeah.
So one from Smriti Banka, who is asking that she has been working on the lake rejuvenation project with an NGO, and they are experimenting with duckweed, and they are facing challenges. They were thinking of going ahead with aeration methodology, but if there's if there is a alternative NbS approach instead, what could they look at? If there's something from your experience that you could share. Yeah.
Right, Smriti. Smriti, I think the logic is absolutely correct of what you're talking about. There's the deficit in BOD, dissolved oxygen, and hence the growth of algae is amplifying further. So our experience has been that definitely the water needs to keep moving. So aeration methodology, instead of having more pumps, you can go for a fountain as well, which will not affect the fishes. So what happens every time we install the aeration methodology, there are the fishes or the aquatic life actually suffers. So I would recommend going with a fountain, solar based fountain. But if you feel that there's a threat of it to be stolen, then second would be to install, like put a dedicated kind of fish species. So there's this, locally we call it guppy, but I'm happy to share the name of that fishes also, which eat the duckweed, and that will help you improve it. Third methodology is to introduce bioenzymes, and that can be created at the community level itself, where a lot of orange and lemon peels can be used and combined with jaggery to create bioenzymes at the community level. And the dosing, regular dosing of it will eliminate the phosphates and hence slow down the duckweed. I hope that I would have answered your question, but yeah, if you need like a longer detail on this, I'm happy to answer that separately as well. I'll put there's my email ID and my phone number on the screen, so feel free to write to me, and I can detail it out. Also, try and understand more on the context here.
Thanks, Shubhi. There's also a question from Deepak. He's asking how do fellows like Vinod and Akash approach the fellowship? How do they get to know about it? Is there a training program for them that they go through? And also, I think just to add to what Deepak is asking from my end, I would also like to know, do you also bring in experts, external experts who sort of interact with these fellows to capacitate them? Also, I can see a lot of technology has been also used to, sort of make it more holistic, as an holistic approach to NbS, right? To enable them to scale, for example, drone and AI and so on. So this really is a whole lot of capacity building that is required, and really interesting to see that. So how do you go about this, right? Like, how did you think about designing the program?
Yeah. No, thank you, Deepak, for that question. I think so. Whenever we start any project at any community level, or any of the partner organizations are about to start, so they reach out to us, and we try. So through the Sarpanch or the ward counselor, we spread the word. There is an application form, and maybe I can ask Vinod to elaborate more. कि उनका सिलेक्शन कैसे हुआ था, उन्हें कैसे पता चला था. तो I think from the first person we can hear from Vinod as well. But we give away the application forms at the sarpanch level and the ward councillor level, and they go ahead and share it in the village community, and fellows have to apply. So typically from every village we receive somewhere between 15 to 20 applications, from which we shortlisted. They had to go through 3 rounds to be even selected as a fellow. First was they had to answer basic questions so that we could judge on their writing skills and thinking skills. Second is that they had to share what is their dream for village, and that was more of an assignment, and we gave them an option to either write to us or to answer that question on call. And third, we had an interview where we spoke to them just to understand what is their bent of mind and their future plan. So I hope that does answer. And for the second part of the question that Herschel, that you mentioned, we have a very, very robust module designed internally. And while we're talking about it, we have 6 teams within the organization. There's forestry team, there's water team, there's governance team, there is admin team, which is talking about finance, how to manage your finances, how to report the bills, how to document all the expenses and stuff. And then there's a governance team. So governance team is the one which is constantly aligning with the government, and then there's fundraising team. So all the teams have prepared their modules. So there are presentations, there are examinations, there are quizzes, and communication team. Thank you, Shalu, for adding to it. So all these teams come together and have created dedicated modules and exposure activities. There are a lot of experts also who come. So we have almost 30 plus advisors on the board of GuruJal who come from various domains and have more than 25, 30 years of experience in those domains. It could be, say, Mr. Avinash Mishra, who used to be an advisor at NITI Aayog, to somebody who was earlier a deputy secretary at UNFCCC, to somebody who's been working in the forest, like Mr. Sunil Harsana for the last 20 years or so, coming grounds up. So we have exposure exercises, and also there's a lot of site visits. So these people would have visited the Okla Biodiversity Park to, seen the Aravali Biodiversity Park, to seen the check dams, gully plugs, what NITI has done. So they have experience and been exposed to, and there are case studies discussed while there are knowledge sessions as well, to keep it more relatable for them to understand and immerse into the subject. We very recently we organized like a site visit to Morni Hills and see why the landslide occurs, and we had an interaction with our district forest officer to hear his experience, struggles of how immigration or the change in the climate is affecting the Morni Hills of Panchkula. So we have those levels of interactions on a very periodic basis and in very structured format for these fellows. So if you're interested in knowing more, again, I can elaborate more on the email and see if you are interested of getting somebody enrolled in the program as well. We can definitely speak about it.
Shubhi, also, Shruti is asking, what are your thoughts on NbS versus, human-made solutions? Not quite clear what is that, but how do you decide where NbS should be deployed versus something more, human-built, so basically more gray infra? So how do you juggle between this, options?
So I think right now NbS are also something that we are building. So definitely, so creating it together. It's just that in terms of principles, I do understand what you're trying to ask is the difference between electromechanical solutions versus nature-based solutions might be a better way to put it here. How do we decide? Definitely, I feel like rural areas are the best suited for nature-based solution. So there's no contradiction there. The paucity of electricity, the ample availability of space, also limited usage of chemical and industrial waste makes them the perfect fit. And 70% of our country still is the rural category. So nature-based solutions are the best and easiest and the most reliable solutions in my understanding. Again, quoting my understanding in the rural areas. Peri-urban, sometimes due to space constraints, we'll have to go hybrid, right? Then solutions like, say, instead of constructed wetland for wastewater treatment, I would recommend going for AER solution, which will again combine the principles of biomimicking, will need some, say, water pumps, etc., to solve the problem, and then do it. It changes from space to space. I think the geography has a very important role to play here. The space availability has a very important, and also the resources. While nature-based solutions are very cheap to maintain, relatively much cheaper than a conventional STP or a conventional transport system for the pipeways. Nature-based solutions just need cleaning in 6 months. Right, and we just have to prevent from any external chemical being introduced to it. So that is the only constraint there in my understanding. Again, happy to elaborate more on it in future. So electromechanical, we definitely need where there's like a lot of industrial interfaces. So that is where the nature-based solutions won't work, right? All the artificial problems need the artificial solution, and hence we'll have to go electromechanical for them. And especially in the treatment category for drinking water is where I would probably not completely rely on the nature-based solution. But apart from it, most of the problems can be solved with nature-based. Even in the cities like Gurgaon, we have a lot of check dams, gully plugs, rainwater harvesting systems. These are nature-based solutions, right? That we are bringing in the city level. So that can be solved massively. Our cities are not designed to work at the decentralized level, and hence nature-based solutions might struggle a bit here. But if there was, if we could have thought in a more decentralized level, of course, even a farmhouse or a off-grid house is completely dependent on the nature-based solution for treatment of the gray water, the black water, using the biodigester, and then the constructed wetland to, supplying it across using bioswales. I I hope I did justice to your question. Let me know if you have a follow-up here.
Yeah, Smriti is saying,
Yeah.
she's thanking you for it.
Yeah.
So she works in the wastewater company, it seems, and
Yeah.
we work with electromechanical.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like a lot of places where we've been using, like I can share a case study. We're now starting to work in a space called Sarhal. It's right in the dense city of Gurugram. And they had installed a system of a 50 KLD STP. पूरे गुरुग्राम में पानी भर गया, but उस pond में एक बूंद पानी नहीं आया because of the design flaws, and the embankments were much higher and the STP's water was diverted. So now we are installing a nature-based solution to actually use and combine that system, because we can't, community level systems often don't work because there isn't actual reliable electricity supply. So it goes out of purpose eventually and struggles. So all these contextual problems we'll have to look and see what can be done. Like green belts are an awesome solution, but green belts above the road level are going to just create more trouble. They need to be lowered down. So all these things have implications here. Designing has a very key role.
I think while others post further questions, I think I just had one question for Akash. तो नमस्ते आकाश जी, आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि आप अभी एक कंपनी आपने रजिस्टर किया है, एंड वो फेलोशिप के बाद आपने जितना भी सीखा आपने उसको आप उसको यूज करने वाले, मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि तो आप थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बात कीजिए कि आप फेलोशिप से क्या क्या सीखा आपने, और उसको आप कैसे, आप ये जो कंपनी आपने शुरुआत किया है उसमें आप आपके स्किल्स कैसे यूज करेंगे और कौन कौन से स्किल्स होगा ये, तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बात कर लें।
जी सर, नमस्कार सर। जो मैंने फेलोशिप में सीखा है वो है पॉन्ड प्रोफाइलिंग करना, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग असेसमेंट करना, GIS सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करना, ड्रोन सर्वे। अभी मैं सर्टिफाइड ड्रोन पायलट हो गया हूँ पिछले साल। तो उसके साथ ही फिर मैंने अपनी कंपनी स्टार्ट की जिसमें मैं ड्रोन से मैपिंग, ड्रोन से कंटूरिंग और GIS सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करके उसकी मैपिंग, लैंड यूज, लैंड कवर, इन सब में मैं काम करूंगा।
थैंक यू आकाश जी।
वेलकम सर।
It's really inspiring to hear this, Shubhi, and kudos to GuruJal for making this happen. Really, I think conceptualizing this and enabling this so that we have more grassroots youth and community leaders who are adopting these solutions. I think we have 5 more minutes, but meanwhile, I'll just also share for feedback to the masterclass. I'm just sharing the QR code so that everybody can access the Mentimeter to share your feedback. Give me a second. So also, I mean, participants, for knowing more about the forum, connecting, subscribing to a newsletter, as well as accessing the previous webinars or masterclasses. There were 12 masterclasses earlier. To access all of these, I'm sharing the links to these in the chat. Hope they are useful as well. So our NbS4India newsletter, which is a monthly newsletter by the forum, has 30,900 subscribers already. So we will also be sharing updates about further masterclasses, earlier previous masterclasses, also the latest news in the urban NbS space within India and abroad within these newsletters, with a more specific understanding of India context, but also worldwide news. I'll just
Thank you.
pause here for 1 minute, but yeah, Shubhi, if you have any closing comments, especially on other organizations in this space, if they wish to design a program like this, what are some points that they need to keep a tab on, and what are some learnings from the WeforWater Fellowship that you would like to share with them? Because I personally feel more and more such fellowships will definitely skill more people, and that is the requirement at the moment. And job creation and also adopting more nature-based solutions is critical. And so this is one approach that I see value in. So please share your thoughts as well on that.
No, I think Harshal, thank you so much for bringing about it on the surface. I feel we often tend into going into that mode of doing everything ourselves. एंड वो स्केल में क्या होता है, फिर वो हमारे पर भी स्ट्रेस होता है, कम्युनिटी पे तो डबल स्ट्रेस होता है, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट एबल टू डिलीवर व्हाट द कम्युनिटी नीड्स, बिकॉज दे आर आल्सो ट्राइंग always trying to do everything in limited time. So of course it might not be able to go to that scientific level, to that logical conclusion that we initially had the intent of working. So for me it has been incredible to witness how, say, Akash or Jitendra nahi hai, abhi call pe Ismail nahi hai, these were the 3 fellows from our initial batch, and they've been doing incredible. Every time I'm like demoralized, I just want to look at these people because they have been such rock stars. Jitendra has been designing all the water projects, and he's now got his construction company registered and he's exclusively working on water projects, and then maintaining a couple of the projects that we received funding from. Similarly, Ismail has been trained in AutoCAD and has been designing the forestry project. He is working as a senior associate with GuruJal at the moment, but is also skilled in drones. So he and Ismail actually have a company together. So a lot of intermingle, like we also see like a lot of collaboration happening within the fellows. A lot of our fellows have actually joined the peer organizations as well, right? They got qualified. So I am like, okay, at least one person is going and choosing a more green option now, and they have better intentions, they have better qualifications to be able to exhibit it. And I really hope Pens want to see all these people rise and shine, have their own entrepreneurship journey. And while we educate them with most of the technical skills, I really want to bring it forward, saying IT, finance, governance, fundraising is equally important while they do it, because operations will be successful only if backed by these 4 verticals. So that is a journey in itself. And Vinod, I used to struggle to hear Vinod's voice 2 years ago. Now he's coming and speaking on screen. Has been a great idea for them. It's a lot of journey also that we've seen, growth that has happened within people. So it's very exciting for us internally, honestly, very, very exciting. And I feel that is going to be the scaling journey of GuruJal and the nature-based solutions. And I really want to invite more and more peer organizations to do it. We are happy to share what we've learned in the process and collaborate and partner to scale this fellowship further. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Shubhi. Really encouraging to hear this, and yeah, looking forward to hear more such initiatives coming out of GuruJal and learning more from fellows like Akash and Vinod about their experience going forward. So yes, participants who have missed part of the masterclass today, you would have access to them through our website, our YouTube channel, and as well as the newsletter that will be coming out next month. So you can catch up the rest of the masterclass over there as well, and also previous masterclasses. So I think we can close here. Thank you so much for this, Shubhi, Akashji, Vinodji. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Harshal. I would like to hear the feedback from today's session. So if you don't mind sharing.
Absolutely. I'll compile them and share it. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.